Introduction. Welcome to today's episode, where we're about to unlock the secret to becoming a master communicator. Have you ever found yourself in a conversation, trying to express your thoughts, but somehow the words just don't come out right? Or maybe you've been in a room full of people and you wanted to speak up, but the fear of saying the wrong thing held you back. We've all been there, and it's frustrating, isn't it? In a world where relationships are key and the power of words is undeniable, mastering communication is not just a skill, it's a superpower. Imagine walking into a room, your voice steady, your words sharp, and everyone around you hanging on to every sentence you say. It's not because you're the loudest in the room, but because you know how to connect with people, how to make them feel heard and valued. That's the power of mastering communication. But here's the catch. Effective communication isn't about using big words or knowing all the perfect phrases. It's about connecting with others on a human level. It's about making your voice count and knowing how to leave an impact. It's not just about talking, it's about truly making others listen. So in this episode, we're going to go on a journey, not one that's filled with boring grammar rules or vocabulary drills, but one that gives you real, actionable strategies to instantly improve how you connect with others. Whether you're acing an important job interview, repairing a broken relationship, or delivering a pitch that could change your life, the techniques you're about to learn will give you the confidence and clarity you need to speak with purpose and authenticity. Are you ready to take your communication skills to the next level? Stick with me, because by the end of this episode, you'll be equipped to speak with confidence, listen with empathy, and connect with others in ways you never thought possible. Let's dive in and start transforming your communication today. Section 1. The power of words. They are everywhere, all around us. Whether it's the simple exchange of greetings with a stranger or the powerful speech that shifts the course of history, words hold undeniable power. Have you ever stopped to think about just how much influence your words have over the world around you, how they shape your relationships, how they define your professional life, and even how they affect your own self-image? Words are not just tools for communication, they are the very foundation upon which connections, trust, and understanding are built. Now, you might be wondering, why are words so powerful? Let's take a moment to truly explore that. Picture this. You walk into a room full of people, your heart racing, your palms a little sweaty. It's time for you to speak, but you hesitate. The question is, why do you hesitate? Is it the fear of saying the wrong thing, or is it because you know the weight that your words carry? That's the thing with words, they matter, and you know it. But let's zoom out a little. Words are not just about impressing others or sounding intelligent. They're about making a connection. Think about the last time you listened to someone speak and felt truly moved by their words. Maybe it was a speaker at an event, a teacher, or even a close friend. Their words didn't just enter your ears, they resonated with you, making you feel something deep inside. That's the power of communication done right. The ability to connect through your words is what sets you apart from the crowd. It's what makes others want to listen and remember you. Now imagine the opposite. A person speaking without impact, using words carelessly or even worse, speaking just to fill the silence. Have you ever been in a conversation like that? It's draining, isn't it? It's almost as if you're speaking but not really connecting. Words like that fall flat. They don't move people. They don't inspire action. They just hang in the air, forgotten. The difference here is clear. The first person mastered the power of words while the second failed to unlock it. And the good news is you can learn to do the same. Mastering the power of words begins with understanding their true weight. Every word you speak carries energy, whether it's positive or negative. Have you ever noticed how a simple compliment can brighten someone's day? Or how a harsh comment can stay with someone for years, shaping their view of themselves and their confidence? The truth is, our words shape not only how others perceive us, but also how they feel about themselves and the world around them. Words can build, but they can also break. Think about the impact of a well-timed compliment. Imagine telling someone, "I believe in you," or "you did an amazing job." That's a powerful moment. You've just built trust. You've elevated someone's spirit, and you've made them feel seen and heard. It doesn't take much, but the effect is long-lasting. Now think about how destructive words can be when used carelessly. One rude comment, one offhand remark, and suddenly you've damaged a relationship or undermined someone's confidence. That's the dual nature of words. They have the ability to build and destroy, and the choice is in your hands. This is why speaking smart isn't just about crafting the perfect sentence or having a broad vocabulary. It's about understanding the impact of every word you say. It's about knowing when to speak and when to listen. It's about using your words to create bridges instead of walls, to open hearts instead of closing them. And it's about having the confidence to own your words, to say them with purpose, and to stand behind them with integrity. When you speak with intention, your words carry power. They don't just fill the air, they create a ripple effect. They influence the people around you, they change perceptions, and they inspire action. But to unlock this power, you need to stop seeing words as mere communication tools and start seeing them as a force of nature. Words are like seeds. When planted with care, they can grow into something incredible, something that lasts. So, how do we tap into this power? How do we speak in a way that makes people want to listen? First, we must recognize the importance of clarity. Clarity is key to powerful communication. When you speak with clarity, your message is unmistakable. People understand exactly what you're trying to say, and there's no room for confusion. Think about the best leaders you've encountered. When they speak, they don't complicate things. They make it easy for you to follow, easy for you to believe in their message. That's the power of clear, purposeful words. But clarity isn't just about being understood. It's about creating an emotional connection. When you speak with clarity, you're not just relaying information, you're making people feel something. And when people feel something, they remember you, they remember your message. And that's the power of words at its best. Words are also an invitation. They invite people into your world, your thoughts, your vision. The right words can create a sense of belonging, making others feel like they are part of something greater. When you speak, you don't just want to inform, you want to connect, you want to share, and you want to inspire. Think about how a motivational speaker commands the room. They don't just throw out facts, they invite the audience to take part in their vision, to feel the emotions behind the message, and to believe in what's possible. And let's not forget the most important aspect of communication, authenticity. You've heard it before, but it's worth repeating. Authenticity is magnetic. When you speak with genuine intent, people can feel it. They don't just hear your words, they hear the truth in them. And truth, my friends, is powerful. It's one of the most impactful tools in any conversation. When you speak from a place of authenticity, you build trust. And trust is the foundation of every strong relationship. The key takeaway here is that your words have power, more power than you may realize. The way you speak, the words you choose, the energy you put behind your message, it all matters. So the next time you step into a conversation, whether it's a casual chat with a friend or a presentation to an audience, remember that your words are more than just sounds. They have the power to build relationships, inspire change, and leave a lasting impact. Don't just speak. Speak with purpose, speak with clarity, and speak with confidence. And watch how your words begin to change the world around you. This is just the beginning of mastering communication. And in the next chapter, we will explore how to harness the power of your voice and words in a way that truly captivates others. Stay tuned, because the journey has only just begun. Section 2. Overcoming communication. Barriers. Communication is one of the most powerful tools we possess. It is the foundation of every relationship, from personal bonds to professional connections. But as powerful as it is, communication is not always easy. Many of us struggle with getting our message across clearly, effectively, or persuasively. But what if I told you that the biggest barrier to successful communication might not be the message itself, but how we approach it? In this section, we are going to uncover the common barriers that stand in the way of effective communication and, most importantly, how to overcome them. Let's start by identifying these barriers. The first one that often pops up is fear. Fear can take many forms: fear of being misunderstood, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough, or even fear of judgment. We've all been there, haven't we? Whether it's a job interview, a difficult conversation with a loved one, or a public speaking engagement, fear often rears its ugly head, causing us to freeze up or fumble for words. It's normal to feel nervous in these situations, but it's important to realize that fear doesn't have to control you. Fear is an emotional response, not a fact. It's simply a feeling that is created by the anticipation of an event, often based on our own insecurities or past experiences. The truth is, when we allow fear to dictate how we communicate, we limit our ability to connect with others. This fear can cause us to hold back, avoid speaking up, or, in some cases, say things we don't even mean, all in an attempt to protect ourselves from potential discomfort or rejection. So how do we overcome this barrier? The answer lies in reframing fear. Instead of allowing it to paralyze us, we must learn to embrace it. Recognize that fear is a natural part of the communication process, especially when we care deeply about the outcome of a conversation. But rather than letting it hinder us, we can use it as a motivator. When we feel that flutter of anxiety in our stomachs, we can remind ourselves that it means we care, that the conversation matters, and that we have something valuable to say. By acknowledging and embracing fear, we take away its power over us. The next communication barrier that many of us face is a lack of confidence. It's one thing to have the knowledge and ideas to communicate effectively, but it's another thing entirely to believe that our words are worth hearing. Confidence in communication comes from knowing your message, believing in its value, and having the courage to express it. But for many, the fear of being judged or criticized makes them second-guess their own thoughts and ideas. They hold back, worried that they may not be smart enough, articulate enough, or simply not good enough. But here's the truth. Confidence is not about being perfect, nor is it about having all the answers. Confidence in communication is about trusting yourself, your thoughts, and your ability to express them. It's about embracing your unique perspective and owning your voice. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to believe in what you are saying and in your ability to communicate it effectively. One way to build this confidence is through preparation. Whether it's a speech, a meeting, or a personal conversation, preparation is key. When you know your material and feel prepared, you naturally exude confidence. You are ready to engage in the conversation, to take on whatever questions or challenges arise because you know that you've done the work. Confidence comes from knowing that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. But let's move beyond fear and confidence for a moment and explore another significant barrier: miscommunication. Miscommunication happens when our message is not received the way we intended. This can happen for a variety of reasons. Maybe we didn't explain ourselves clearly, or perhaps the other person wasn't paying attention. In a world where distractions are everywhere, it's all too easy for miscommunication to occur. The key to overcoming miscommunication is clarity. When we speak, we need to ensure that we are delivering our message in the clearest, most direct way possible. Avoid jargon, unnecessary complexity, and ambiguity. Instead, focus on simplicity and precision. Make sure that your message is straightforward and easy to understand. But clarity isn't just about what you say, it's also about how you say it. Nonverbal communication plays a significant role in how our messages are perceived. Sometimes our body language, tone of voice, or facial expressions may send a different message than the words we are speaking. This misalignment can create confusion, sending mixed signals that leave the other person unsure of your true meaning. That's why it's crucial to be mindful of your nonverbal cues. Your body language speaks volumes. In fact, research suggests that up to 93% of communication is nonverbal, with 55% of that being body language. The way you stand, the gestures you use, your facial expressions, all of these contribute to how your message is received. So when you are communicating, make sure that your body language matches your words. If you're telling someone that you're open to listening but your arms are crossed, they may interpret your message differently than you intended. The same goes for tone. The way you say something is just as important as what you say. Now let's talk about another common barrier: distractions. We live in a world full of distractions. Phones, social media, noise, and even our own thoughts can pull our attention away from the conversation at hand. When we're distracted, we're not truly listening, and that's when communication breaks down. Distractions can prevent us from hearing what the other person is really saying, which can lead to misunderstandings and missed opportunities. The solution? Focus. When you are communicating with someone, give them your full attention. Put down your phone, turn off the television, and silence the distractions around you. Be present in the moment. This not only helps you understand the other person better, but it also signals that you value their words and their time. Active listening is a critical skill that allows you to engage more deeply in conversations and build stronger connections with others. Lastly, let's discuss one more barrier that many people struggle with: the inability to be vulnerable. Communication requires openness, and being open means being vulnerable. But for many of us, vulnerability is uncomfortable. It's hard to let our guard down, to admit our weaknesses, or to show our true selves to others. But the truth is, vulnerability is the gateway to deeper, more meaningful connections. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you invite others to do the same. You create an environment where trust can flourish and people feel safe to open up and share their thoughts and feelings. Vulnerability fosters connection. It's about being honest, transparent, and authentic in your communication. When you are willing to be vulnerable, you are not only improving your ability to communicate, but you are also strengthening your relationships. So, how do we overcome these communication barriers? The key is awareness. Recognizing the barriers is the first step in breaking them down. Once you become aware of the fears, the lack of confidence, the miscommunication, and the distractions that may be holding you back, you can begin to address them. And the more you practice these skills, the easier it becomes to communicate effectively and confidently. Remember, communication is a skill that can always be improved. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional, being present, and being open to growth. So the next time you feel a barrier in your communication, don't shy away from it. Face it, break it down, and use it as an opportunity to grow. You have the power to transform your communication, and with practice, you can overcome any barrier that stands in your way. In the next section, we'll explore how to fine-tune your communication skills, how to make sure you're getting your message across in the most effective way possible, and how to continue improving your ability to connect with others. Stay tuned, this journey has only just begun. Section 3. Mastering the Art of Listening. Let's take a moment to think about one of the most powerful, yet often overlooked aspects of communication: listening. In a world filled with noise, constant distractions, and endless opinions, the ability to truly listen is becoming a rare and invaluable skill. But here's the thing, most of us think we're good listeners, but in reality, we're only hearing what we want to hear or waiting for our turn to speak. So let's pause and reflect. What does it mean to listen deeply? How can mastering this skill transform the way we connect with others? To start, let's address a simple but profound truth. Listening is not just about hearing words. It's about understanding, absorbing, and engaging with the message being conveyed. Listening is a skill that demands focus, patience, and most importantly, intention. It's easy to let our minds wander, distracted by the things we want to say or the day's responsibilities. But true listening goes beyond that. It's about being present in the moment, fully immersed in the conversation, and genuinely interested in what the other person has to say. So, why is listening so critical? Because it allows us to connect. When people feel heard, when they know you are paying attention to them, it fosters trust and builds rapport. It makes them feel validated, understood, and respected. It gives them a sense of value, and when people feel valued, they are more likely to open up, to share more of themselves, and to truly engage with you. This is where the magic of communication happens, when you connect, not just with their words, but with their emotions, their needs, and their intentions. Listening is especially vital in conversations where emotions are involved, or when someone is facing a challenge. In these moments, people don't just want to be heard, they need to be understood. Have you ever been in a situation where you were upset or frustrated, and the person you were talking to was too quick to offer solutions or advice? Did you feel like they were genuinely hearing you, or did you feel rushed, dismissed, or unheard. When we don't take the time to truly listen, we miss the chance to understand the deeper emotional context behind what is being said. We may think we're helping, but in reality, we might just be adding to their frustration. One of the first steps in mastering the art of listening is silencing that inner voice, the one that's constantly planning your response or analyzing what's being said. In these moments, we often don't realize how much we are actually tuning out the speaker, thinking more about what we're going to say next than truly absorbing what is being shared. The key to being a great listener is to focus entirely on the speaker. Give them your full attention. Don't interrupt or try to fix things immediately. Let them speak and let the conversation unfold naturally. This creates a space for deeper understanding and fosters an environment where both people feel heard and valued. Another essential aspect of listening is paying attention to non-verbal cues. In fact, research suggests that up to 93% of communication is non-verbal. This includes body language, facial expressions, gestures, and tone of voice. When we listen, we don't just listen to the words, we also listen to the emotions behind the words. A person's tone of voice can convey as much, if not more, information than the words they are speaking. Are they frustrated, excited, anxious? Empathizing with their emotional state can make you a more effective listener. By paying attention to these signals, you can better understand the context and respond more thoughtfully. Additionally, making eye contact during a conversation is a simple yet powerful way to demonstrate that you're engaged and actively listening. Eye contact shows attentiveness and creates a sense of trust. However, be mindful that it's not about staring them down. It's about maintaining enough eye contact to let the other person know you are present with them, while still giving them space to express themselves freely. Active listening also involves asking thoughtful questions. When you ask questions that encourage the speaker to elaborate, you show that you are interested in what they are saying. These questions can be open-ended and reflective, such as, "How did that make you feel?" or "What happened next?" These types of questions not only show you're invested in the conversation, but they also invite the speaker to dig deeper and share more, allowing you to understand their perspective even better. But here's the challenge. How do you truly listen when the conversation becomes difficult or when emotions run high? It's one thing to listen when things are calm and simple, but what about in those high-stakes moments when tensions rise and the conversation becomes heated? That's when most people begin to tune out or react impulsively, and communication breaks down. When the conversation becomes emotional, it is important to practice patience and empathy. Instead of rushing in with your own opinion or advice, take a moment to breathe and reflect on what the other person is feeling. Try to see things from their perspective, even if you don't agree with them. Ask yourself, what might they be experiencing in this moment? What is their underlying need? Acknowledge their emotions, whether positive or negative, and validate their feelings. This simple act of validation can help calm the conversation and create space for more constructive dialogue. Empathy plays a huge role in effective listening. It goes beyond just understanding the words. It's about connecting with the emotions and experiences behind them. Empathy allows us to listen with an open heart, to truly walk in someone else's shoes, and to respond in a way that shows we understand not just their thoughts, but their feelings too. This type of listening can transform relationships. It can turn a simple conversation into an opportunity for genuine connection and understanding. So, how can you practice and improve your listening skills? It starts with intention. The next time you engage in a conversation, remind yourself that your goal is to truly listen, not just to respond, but to understand. Focus on the speaker. Pay attention to their tone, their body language, and the emotions behind their words. Don't interrupt or jump in too quickly with your own thoughts. Instead, give them space to express themselves fully. Show that you're interested by asking questions that dig deeper and reflect on their feelings. And always remember that listening is not just about the words, it's about the energy, the intent, and the connection between you and the other person. Mastering the art of listening takes time and practice. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present and committed to building stronger connections with the people around you. When you listen deeply, you not only improve your communication skills, but you also improve the quality of your relationships. People will notice that you truly care about what they have to say, and that in turn will build trust and rapport that lasts. As we move forward, let's talk about how you can take your listening skills to the next level and use them to influence conversations, resolve conflicts, and strengthen your ability to connect with others on a deeper level. The next step in mastering communication is to combine listening with empathy and trust. Stay tuned as we explore these powerful tools in the next section. Section 4. The role of empathy in communication. Now, let's dive into one of the most profound yet often underappreciated components of effective communication: empathy. You may have heard the word before, but what does it truly mean in the context of conversation? Empathy is not just about feeling sorry for someone or simply agreeing with them. It's about understanding their feelings and perspectives. It's about putting yourself in their shoes and, in doing so, transforming the way you connect with others. So, what makes empathy such a powerful tool for communication? At its core, empathy is the ability to recognize, understand, and share the feelings of another person. It's about seeing the world from their perspective, understanding their emotions, and acknowledging their experience without judgment. In the realm of communication, empathy is the bridge that connects us on a deeper level. It's what turns a casual conversation into a meaningful exchange. It's what allows us to build rapport, establish trust, and foster genuine relationships. When we listen with empathy, we make the other person feel seen, heard, and understood. And that, my friends, is one of the most powerful gifts you can give anyone. Think for a moment about a time when you felt truly understood. Perhaps it was when you were going through a difficult situation and someone listened to you with compassion and care. Or maybe it was when someone acknowledged your struggles, not with advice, but with a simple, "I get it." How did that make you feel? Most likely, it gave you a sense of relief, of validation. It helped you feel less alone, and in some cases, it might have even led to a resolution or at least a feeling of peace. That's the power of empathy. It has the potential to heal, to bring comfort, and to deepen the connection between people. So, why is empathy such a game changer in communication? Because it shifts the focus from me to you. When we communicate with empathy, we are no longer centered on ourselves, how we look, how we sound, or what we think about the situation. Instead, we focus on the other person, their feelings and their experience. And that focus makes all the difference. Let's break it down further. Empathy is not just a passive act of listening, it's an active process that requires us to engage on an emotional level. It's about being present in the conversation and putting aside our own thoughts, judgments, and distractions. When you listen with empathy, you're not just hearing words, you're also tuning into the emotions and non-verbal cues that accompany them. It's about picking up on the tone of voice, the body language, and the subtle shifts in expression that tell the full story. When you practice empathy, you become more attuned to the emotions that others are experiencing. For example, when someone expresses frustration, you may notice the tension in their voice or the way their body posture shifts. By recognizing these cues, you can respond more effectively, showing that you understand their emotional state and care about what they're going through. Empathy, in this way, deepens communication, making it richer, more meaningful, and far more impactful. But here's the catch: empathy doesn't come naturally to everyone, especially when emotions are running high. It can be challenging to stay empathetic when we're upset, angry, or hurt. Yet it is precisely in these moments that empathy becomes most powerful. Think about the times when you've been in a heated conversation, perhaps an argument with a friend or colleague. It's easy to get defensive, to focus on our own feelings, and to lose sight of the other person's emotions. But this is where empathy can truly make a difference. The next time you find yourself in a challenging conversation, try pausing before you react. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what is this person really feeling right now? Shift your perspective from, what am I going to say next, to, what do they need from me in this moment? This shift in focus can help you remain calm and responsive, rather than reactive, and create a space for understanding to flourish. Empathy can also serve as a powerful conflict resolution tool. In any disagreement, there is a tendency to want to win the conversation, to prove that we are right and the other person is wrong. But empathy challenges that mindset. When we communicate with empathy, we approach the conversation not with the goal of winning, but with the goal of understanding. When we prioritize understanding over being right, we create opportunities for collaboration and resolution. Instead of escalating the conflict, empathy allows us to diffuse tension, making it easier to find common ground. Now let's take a closer look at how empathy can transform communication. One of the best ways to practice empathy is through active listening. When you listen empathetically, you are not simply hearing the words, you are listening to the emotions behind them. You are acknowledging the person's perspective and validating their experience. This makes them feel heard and respected, and it sets the foundation for a more productive and compassionate conversation. But how do you become a more empathetic listener? First, it's important to silence the inner voice that is constantly analyzing or critiquing the conversation. When we listen with judgment, we are no longer truly listening to the other person's feelings. Instead, we are interpreting their words through our own lens, which can lead to misunderstandings. So the first step in empathetic listening is to suspend judgment and focus solely on the speaker. Next, resist the urge to interrupt. It's natural to want to jump in with advice or your own opinion, but this often diminishes the other person's feelings and takes away from their experience. Allow them the space to express themselves fully, even if it takes a little longer. Sometimes people need time to sort through their own thoughts and feelings before they can articulate them clearly. Another important aspect of empathetic listening is asking questions that show genuine interest. Open-ended questions like, "How did that make you feel?" or "What's going through your mind right now?" encourage the other person to explore their emotions more deeply. These questions invite them to share their inner world and give you the opportunity to respond with greater empathy. And let's not forget the power of body language. Non-verbal cues are an essential part of empathy. A comforting touch, a nod of understanding, or a warm smile can go a long way in making someone feel heard and valued. In fact, research suggests that up to 93% of communication is non-verbal, which means that what we communicate with our body is just as important as the words we say. Conclusion. As we reach the conclusion of this journey, let's take a moment to reflect on what we've learned about communication and its transformative power. We've explored how words, when used wisely, are not just tools for expression, but instruments that can inspire, build connections, and even change the course of our lives. Whether it's finding your unique voice, understanding the power of listening, or embracing the art of empathy, these elements come together to create a communication style that resonates deeply with others. Remember, the essence of great communication lies in more than just what you say. It's in how you make others feel. The energy you bring into a conversation, the empathy you offer, and the clarity you provide all contribute to making your words impactful. By focusing outward and connecting with others at an emotional level, you unlock the true potential of your voice. Communication becomes a tool for building bridges, for fostering trust, and for inspiring meaningful action. One of the key takeaways is the importance of overcoming barriers, whether those are fear, misunderstandings, or the tendency to overcomplicate things. When you clear away these obstacles, you allow your authentic voice to shine through, creating space for genuine connections and understanding. You also saw how empathy, the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes, is the cornerstone of meaningful communication. It's what turns simple conversations into opportunities for growth, trust, and even conflict resolution. I encourage you to take these lessons into the world and start using them every day. Whether you're engaging in casual conversation, navigating a high-stakes discussion, or speaking in front of a large group, the power to communicate effectively is within your reach. You don't need to be perfect. What matters is the authenticity, empathy, and clarity with which you express yourself. Thank you for joining me in this audiobook. I hope the tools and techniques shared today will inspire you to communicate with greater confidence and purpose. As you continue to refine your communication skills, remember that every conversation is an opportunity to connect, to inspire, and to make an impact. The world is waiting for your voice, So go out and make it heard.